What is up, guys? So real quickly, we're going to go over some skills. First off, lock, charging slash, and severing light. Um, you're going to want to max out glaring, sword of judgment, sharp light. Divine power is where you could save on some of your skill points. That's mainly used for grinding. You're not really going to use it for PvP. It's good damage, but it's totally unprotected, so it's not recommended. Heaven's Echo is also a super important skill. You're definitely going to want that. It gives you 25 DP and 15% accuracy. Celestial Spear, you're going to want that up to Absolute. You do not want Prime. You cannot cancel the shield throw animation with Prime. You're going to want to use Absolute for that. I'll get into that more thoroughly here soon. For your bombs, the level 58 skill isn't really going to matter. It's kind of useless, but you're going to want Divine Slam and Celestial Smite. We'll get into exact reason why. Overall, Divine Slam is a great down smash, it's guaranteed, and Celestial Smite gives you your crit buff mid-combo, and it's easier to use off of a hotbar than trying to use Celestial Spear off its cooldown, because you can't do that. But that's why Divine Power has to be at least level 4, so you could save on the Absolute, and you could save on the Ultimate, and you can save on the Prime for now, for that reason. So the next thing you want to do is Judgment of Light. You want to max it out eventually, but if you need to keep it at just like 1 or 2 for now, that'll be fine. It's a very good catch. The only problem is you can get caught in it pretty easily by a grab class, or if someone's an AP monkey, there's a very high chance that they can get your back and take you out if your DP is low. But we'll get into all that more thoroughly. Ultimate Righteous Charge, or an Absolute and all that, those are good to have for the cooldowns. They make the cooldowns lower. It's just a movement skill, so if you need to save off on that and just keep it at low rank for now, you'll be totally fine with that. Prime Shine Dash, you definitely want to max out. As for your Awaken skills, you definitely want all 3 of them. Prime Glory of Enslar is going to be your new E-buff. Purificatone is going to be a great air attack. It's a DP debuff. You can trade it to be an air smash. It heals. It's a forward guard. It's an all-around good skill. And your Enslar teleport. It's an iframe. It's a gap closer. It's a super armor. It lingers a little bit. It's a great skill. You definitely want both of those. You can lock both of your kicks, max out your heal, max out your grab, max out shield throw, and your shield chases. So we're going to go over some movement. As I showed you a little bit earlier, you can cancel from Righteous Charge into a shield chase, into a grab. That's very good movement. It's a very long, very quick dash that a lot of people aren't ready for. The next thing I will show you is going to be Glaring Dash. Now, you cannot cancel the animation until the second hit if you collide. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm colliding and I'm trying to move, now I can move. It's not until the second hit that you can move. So if you hit into a grab class and they're a forward guard, more than likely you will get grabbed by the end of the animation of that skill. Now, with that said, there are some ways to cancel out of it. The most common way that I've seen is to just avoid hitting the target or sidestep before it ends. Like I said, it's a forward guard, it's not a super armor. I use it just to get around. I'll use it off of a stun sometimes, or if a target doesn't have a grab and I can see that they're doing something unprotected, like an archer charging up his attack. It hits strong enough, will break most players' forward guards. So definitely something I'd recommend. The next thing I'm going to show you is a crab walk, which I went over a little bit before. Now your right trigger will give you this little crowd block. It's a partial iframe. So during this part of the animation in the middle here, you will be protected from in a partial iframe. It's considered a void mode. You can't get grabbed out of it. You can get grabbed before and after though, so don't expect it to work every single time. It's kind of just it depends on whose luck is higher. Again, if you do that while hitting the right bumper, you'll move faster. I haven't been CC'd out of that yet, but I have been grabbed out of that once. So again, it's all whose luck is better. But yeah, so for the movement, that's pretty easy. Succ Valk's movement is pretty good when it comes to that because you have a lot of options and the cooldowns are relatively short, especially if you're using all the dashes. If you find yourself doing this charge, your righteous charge last, you will be taken out of block. Now this is deadly for a lot of players because a lot of players either won't realize or they won't have another dash to go into to get back into block, and I've seen it kill a lot of players. So the easiest way to remedy that is to obviously go back into block. However, if you look, the animation for block can be a little long because you lift up your sword first and then pull it in. The way to avoid that is you simply step to the left or to the right and just click it. So walking back would throw your shield out, walking forward puts you in the animation. But if you sidestep, you go straight into the block without any issue or animation. So make sure you do that when you come out of that. Same thing with the crowd block. The crowd block will take you out of guard. Alright, so we're going to go over some catches now. So in succession, your biggest catches are going to be your Celestial Spear, your Shining Dash, your Shield Throw, your Judgment of Light, and your Grab. Judgment of Light is the dangerous one, so we'll start with that one. So the problem is you get stuck in this animation. It's a stun and does really well. In PvE, it's a knockdown, which is why he's falling over. But in PvP, it'll stun. But the problem is you get stuck in that animation. There's no way to cancel out of it. So versus a grab class with the dash, it's very unsafe to use unless you know they burn their grab. Same thing goes fighting ninjas and Kuno, stuff like that. Anything that can get to you quickly and grab you, it can be dangerous against. It can also be dangerous versus like DKs and Succs because they can get behind you, and if their AP is high enough and your DP is low enough, they can just blow you up before you have a chance to even turn your camera. Because it does take a second for it to turn around. So just be wary of that. Your next catch is going to be your Celestial Spear and your Shield Throw. Now again, I usually use these together. I recommend getting in the habit of it for the simple reason that the only two ways to cancel Shield Throw effectively is to go from a Celestial Spear into Shield Throw or to sidestep into Shield Throw. However, if you get to the habit of doing it off a sidestep, you're going to wind up using it off cooldown more often than you think. Which can be deadly because off cooldown it doesn't stun and it does not have a forward guard. But if you do it with Celestial Spear, the cooldowns match up well enough where you'll generally not do it off cooldown. Not to mention, Celestial Spear is a bound, and then Shield Throw is a stun. So if one or the other hits, they generally do not overstack with one another. So you won't hit the CC limit. The other catch we have is obviously a grab. Grabs are self-explanatory, so I'm not going to really go over that. And your other dash, your Shining Dash, is going to be your final catch. Now again, these are the more common catches. There are others. I'll go over them in the guide, but these are the more common ones. So Shining Dash is a knockdown that hits very hard. I will show you later how hard it hits, but but it is definitely a hard-hitting skill and definitely a good catch if you can catch a caster or someone who doesn't have a grab with it. Again, if you hit someone with a grab, until that second hit, you're stuck there. So if they didn't burn their grab, they are going to get you. Alright, some other catches we have that are a little bit harder to land. Mainly because one of them procs only on good hits, which basically means if you're lucky, is just counter. It's a forward guard. That's what it looks like. It's a good skill to use, but you have to be careful with it because it's just a forward guard, so you can still get caught with it if you don't land it. I believe auto aim will turn your camera with it, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't use auto aim, but that's what I've heard from other Valkyries. The other skill we have that's a pretty good catch is completely unprotected, and that's counter. I'll show you on this dummy what counter looks like. It's used generally to catch Light of Judgment, to cast Light of Judgment rather, but it's a great float and goes off extremely quickly. So if you can get behind someone and get it while they're unprotected or in a forward guard, I highly recommend it. A problem with this catch that I see a lot of Valkyries do is they'll go like this and go straight into Light of Judgment. If you do that, the problem is by the time that CC ends, they're able to move before you're out of the animation. So they can either get up and grab you if they don't die, or get away from you. So you want to go into something like a shield throw, like this. Go Celestial Spear into a shield throw. Otherwise, there's a high chance that you're going to get yourself killed. Alright, now to go over what you do after a catch. So after a catch, depending on what type of catch you have, is what you can do for damage. Our biggest damaging skill, which is in almost every one of our combos, is going to be Sword of Judgment. Now, Sword of Judgment is a very long casting time. However, we have a lot of skills that are going to cancel that entire animation. So, let's go over a couple. First things first, Celestial Spear will cancel into Sword of Judgment. Rabam Spear will also cancel into Sword of Judgment. Sharp Light cancels into Sword of Judgment. Purificatone cancels into Sword of Judgment. And Shining Dash can cancel into Sword of Judgment. As well as Glaring Slash into Sword of Judgment. Those are going to be your most commonly used and best usage for this cancels. Okay, so we're going to go over some damage combos. The first one we're going to go over is going to be the most basic, bread and butter one. So, off of a grab. So we're going to grab, Sharp Light, Sword of Judgment, Glaring, Sword of Judgment. A lot of people will go to do Glaring and hit Sword of Judgment first. So the only way I've really been able to fix that mid-combo is it's quite simple. When you Sword of Judgment, just hit the right bumper and then let go of it. So you already start casting Glaring in the Sword of Judgment animation, and it will go directly into it, and then just let go of the right bumper, and you'll go straight into the Sword of Judgment hit at the end. So that's combo number one. Very basic, decently hard hitting. Will one combo most lower geared players. The next one I'll show you. Now, mind you, I'm sorry. Your Celestial Spear will give you this crit buff on the screen now. That's about to go away. That crit buff gives you an 80% crit rate. So you want to make sure that you have that active while you're doing your combos. So if you need to grab Sharp Light, I Rabam Spear into the rest of my skills to get that so you keep that buff the entire time. Some people would rather use it beforehand with, a Sword of Judgment or with something else. So you know, everyone has their own little thing. Some people will use that instead of using Sharp Light. However, Sharp Light has a knockdown, whereas Celestial Spear is just a bound. So the bound will get up after a second, the knockdown will get up after 3. So I recommend using the Robomb, or using the Celestial Spear after Sharp Light. Alright, the next thing I'll go over is off of a stun. Now, you have 2 options here. Our Divine Slam, which is one of our Robombs, is a guaranteed down smash. So, off of a shield throw, you get a stun. Now, if you know anything about the CC counter, you can only get up to I believe it's a 2.7, and a knockdown, a bound, a stun, all count as 1. A float, stiff, whatever it may be. Stiff is the only one that counts for less. Stiff is one of the only ones you can hit a stiff and then go into a grab and then go into a knockdown. But there's nothing else that you can stack those with except for the stiff. The stiff is the only one that will allow you to stack CCs. Another thing you'll want to be wary of, when you have a shield throw, you're going to want to go directly into like a Sharp Light into your combo, which is, again, Sword of Judgment, Glaring Slash, Sword of Judgment. And that's because of the CC limit. If you start with the stun, that's going to be a 1, and then a knockdown is also a 1. Now remember, stuns are 3 seconds, and knockdowns are 3 seconds, whereas a bound, like a grab, is only going to be 1 second. Obviously the dummies aren't going to show you correctly, but if I hit this guy with the stun, you can go straight into Shining Dash, and Shining Dash will also cancel into Sword of Judgment, and you can do your DPS combo from there. Shining Dash, don't forget, is also a knockdown. Now, on the other hand, if you grab because you're everything else on cooldown or whatever reason, you want to make sure you go directly into Divine Slam. The reason you go into Divine Slam is because it's a guaranteed down smash, and will allow you to get off your entire combo. Okay. Alright, the next combo I'm going to show you, a lot of the higher tier Valks are probably going to get mad at me for showing, because this combo is an absolute killer. It'll body bounce people until they are dead. It is a beautiful combo that I actually found on PC on my own. I believe other Valkyries use it. I don't see why they wouldn't, but here we go. So this combo generally starts off of a grab, but it's usable off of stuns as well. So I'll show you off of a grab first. You're going to grab into Purification, Sharp Light, Robomb Spear, Sword of Judgment, Divine Slam, Glaring Slash into Sword of Judgment again. I know it's a lot. Pause the video, take notes, do what you gotta do. It's a very long combo, but it's guaranteed down smashes and will land every single time. Alright, the next thing I'm going to go over is the hotbars. As you guys can see, I have both Robombs hotbarred, the Divine Slam and the Celestial Smite, because obviously you can't use them any other way but hotbarred. And since they're part of my main combo, I keep them on the non-LT ones. The other thing I have hotbarred is my heal. The reason I have that is because sometimes when I dash grab as fast as I can and I'm in the middle of a fight, I won't let go of the left trigger in time by the time I'm hitting square to go for the grab, and then I run up in their face and I heal. And that makes me very not happy, and I don't like being that not happy. So I hotbar my heal for that reason. It's a preference thing, but it is what it is. The other thing you hotbar is your Alien's Blessing, your PA, and that's because you don't really have any other options with that skill. Because again, that's only usable from hotbar. Some other skills that are only usable from hotbar are your E-buff, your Glory of Enslar, and your Rage Absorb, your Rage Transfer. Yeah, so I keep those in my ring menu on my L2 down, as well as my flag, just because that's where I'm comfortable. Another thing that some Valks looks like this. Hotbar is glaring. I mentioned before, some people can't land it properly. A lot of them will use a first hit of Sword of Judgment when they're going to use glaring, as you can see here. The only way to fix this is with timing. I've played long enough where every single time I want to hit it, I hit it. It's not a problem for me. But I have talked to some Valks that say they hotbar it. I don't recommend it. You could linger the animation from one to the other, so you don't. So I've never had the need to. But it's something that some Valks do, so it's optional. Another thing they'll do is they'll hotbar Shining Dash. I only use Shining Dash from a dash. Mainly because if I'm using Shining Dash, I either want to gap close or I need to gas something. So I want to super armor first in case I get hit with some type of CC that I wasn't expecting, or if I'm trying to get out of trouble and then get away. So either way, it works. You're going to want to get the super armor forward guard out of the way first, and then go into just the forward guard and the Shining Dash. So that's why I have that the way I have it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to go over is the gear set you want to use. As you can see from our resistances, I run resist crystals. I do this because Valkyries are built for DP, DR. They're not really built for evasion. So I'd rather not get knocked down than try to avoid the damage from getting knocked down. This stuff is complemented really well by our passives and by our succession passives. So if you take a look at our skill menu, you go down to the bottom. For both your base and your prime passives, they're both DP. And if you look over here at Noble Will, it's plus 10% to all resistances. So, you really are one of the tankier classes in the game, so you're definitely going to want to get all of those things. With that being said, for your gear, you should reflect that. So I wouldn't recommend muskins, which I'll show you here in just a second. So as you can see, I'm running full AP accessories with muskins and bags. If you look at my crystals, I run Elcars, because they're king, 20% to ignore all resistances plus accuracy. They're definitely the way to go on every class. Next up, we have the Magic Crystal of Infinity crit crystals. These are very important because with your crit buff, you are pretty much hitting nothing but crits, so that's a permanent 20% increase to all your damage. In both your Griffin and your Dimtree, you're going to run Hanhooms. This will change whenever you get a Fiery Dandy, which is with a Garmoth's Heart, because you'll be able to move the Hanhooms into your Dandy out of your chest, and you're going to put Special Evasion crystals into your chest. And for those of you who don't know, Special Evasion is down attacks, back attacks, crit hits, all that. Special Evasion will help you avoid the extra damage that those things do. You're also going to want Vipers. I have wands right now just because I can afford Jin Vipers because I'm a returning player. So, don't hate on me too much. And of course, RBF Adamantine Crystals for the resistances. Final thing I'm going to go over really quickly is going to be the add-ons. I personally like to keep someone down once I hit them down. So on Glaring and Sword of Judgment, both, I have 15% to down smash, as well as minus movement speed and minus evasion, just because once they're down, I want them to stay down, and I don't want them to get away. Judgment of Light is a tier 4 or tier 3, so I put my evasion shred on that. Shield Throw, I have an add-on for damage against monsters, just because I was doing Altar of Blood. You don't necessarily need to copy that, but I do like having the all defense on that one. Sharp Light, I recommend the PvP attack and attack speed, because you usually start all your combos with that skill. And Purificatone, I have accuracy and air smash, because again, that's going to be the start of almost all of your combos. So these are the add-ons I use and I recommend.